When Hamilton premiered off-Broadway in February 2015, few could have predicted it would revolutionize modern theater. Based on an 800-plus page biography of America's first Treasury Secretary, the sung-through production sounded niche at best. But Lin-Manuel Miranda's vision, blending history with hip-hop, R&B, and contemporary casting choices, turned the show into a cultural juggernaut, selling out performances, moving to Broadway later that year, and winning near-universal acclaim. Now celebrating its 10th anniversary, Hamilton is marking the milestone with special events. Leslie Odom Jr. will reprise his Tony-winning role as Aaron Burr this fall. The cast has hosted charity performances, and a filmed version will arrive in theaters across North America on September 5th before heading overseas. The big question: whether the stage-to-screen leap will have the same impact in 2025 that it might have had during the show's initial wave of hype. The Life of Alexander Hamilton, on paper, didn't scream blockbuster. But Miranda's adaptation found modern relevance in the founding father's immigrant roots, ambition, and moral complexity. Casting actors of color as historical figures, many of whom owned slaves, reframed the narrative through a contemporary lens, while the music's genre shifts reflected generational and ideological divides. Younger revolutionaries rapped their visions for the new nation, while their older, more entrenched counterparts sang in traditional Broadway styles. It was a fresh approach for the theater world, and audiences responded. The production earned 16 Tony nominations, winning 11, and drew praise from both pop culture icons and political leaders, including President Barack Obama. At the time, Hamilton wasn't just a hit, it was a movement. Nearly a decade later, Hamilton is still running in New York, London, and on tour. But it's no longer the cutting-edge disruptor it once was. Like other long-running Broadway successes, Rent, Wicked, The Book of Mormon, it has transitioned from countercultural phenomenon to theatrical establishment. The shifting political climate has also altered its reception. Some conservatives deride the show as overly woke, while critics on the left argue that it glosses over the flaws of its historical subjects, particularly Hamilton's own connections to slavery. Meanwhile, newer productions such as Hadestown and A Strange Loop have pushed representation and storytelling in directions that make Hamilton feel less radical. The theatrical release is complicated by the fact that Hamilton is already available to stream. Disney paid $75 million for the rights to a filmed live performance and released it on Disney Plus in 2020, drawing massive viewership during the pandemic lockdowns. While the cinema run may offer a new communal experience, it's unlikely to feel like an exclusive event for audiences who can watch it at home. That said, its dedicated fanbase remains active. Even TikTok trends featuring fans dressed as Alexander Hamilton have gone viral in recent weeks. Loyalists will almost certainly turn out for the September release, but drawing in a new wave of theatergoers may prove more difficult. Movie musicals can still dominate the box office. Wicked proved that last year, but Hamilton faces unique hurdles. Unlike Wicked, which waited nearly 2 decades for a film version, Hamilton is already accessible in its intended stage form and as a high-quality recording. Without the novelty factor, its box office prospects will rely heavily on existing fans. Whether or not Hamilton's big-screen debut reignites its cultural spark, it remains one of the most influential musicals of its era, a show that changed the conversation about who gets to tell America's story, and how.